Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. So I got around to checking out the new Netflix film called Frankenstein that is written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, and this is supposed to be based on the novel called Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus that was published in 1818, and it was based on Mary Shelley's book, and I have never read the book. But throughout the years of Hollywood always tries to adapt Frankenstein many times over the years. There's been many versions of Frankenstein that has been done many times before. And I remember growing up watching the original Frankenstein of the black and white movie in the 1930s. I think that was when it came out. And I don't remember too much of it, but then I watched the Mel Brooks movie of Young Frankenstein growing up, and it's one of my all-time favorite spoof monster films, and I thought that was hilarious. And I remember they did another version of Frankenstein in the 2004's Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. And for this version of Frankenstein, I mean, you already know what the story is. It's basically telling the story of Victor Frankenstein, played by Oscar Isaac, who tries to play God by creating this creature that is immortal, and it can build to extend the life and never die. And there's major consequences when he tries to play God and feel like it's an abomination. And the monster is played by Jacob Elordi, which you may have known him from the hit show of HBO series called Euphoria. And after watching this film, I will say that this took me by surprise. I was not expecting how much I was going to love it as much as I did. And I'm a big fan of Guillermo del Toro. I loved a lot of his movies like Blade 2, which was an underrated sequel. Hellboy 1 and 2 was so good that I wish they would have gotten a third movie. And I'm an unapologetic that I freaking love Pacific Rim, the first movie that came out in 2013. And it sucks that the sequel did not live up to the hype when Guillermo del Toro didn't come back to direct the film. The Shape of Water, I will say that I liked, but I didn't love it as many people did. I thought it was pretty overrated. But who am I to talk? I know that the movie won Best Picture, but it was not a movie that I enjoyed as much as many people did. But it's still not terrible. And I remember he was a showrunner of from the FX series called The Strain, which is a vampire horror series, which I've only watched several episodes of the first season, and I fell off of it. But I wanted to get back on that show for a long time. But going into Frankenstein, this movie came out at the International Film Festival on August 30th, and it got a limited release of a theatrical experience on October 17th, which I missed out on, because after watching that film, I feel like I should have watched this on the big screen, because I feel like they should have kept it in the theaters a lot longer. This is surprisingly one of my favorite movies of the year. I love how Guillermo del Toro was able to do the structure of seeing two sides of the coin, one with the creator, played by Oscar Isaac, by Victor Frankenstein, and the creature himself, who was created by Frankenstein, played by Jacob Elordi. This is Jacob Elordi's best performance that he has given in his entire career. I thought he was great in Euphoria, but I didn't see him in a lot of roles. I didn't watch him in other movies, but now I'm starting to come around that I want to watch more of his roles, because I think this is his best performance ever so far. And I think that these two, Oscar Isaac and Jacob, they definitely both should get an Oscar nomination, hands down. And Oscar Isaac did a great job of that performance. And from the first half of the film, they split it into two parters, because you're seeing the full of exposition of the build up into his creation from his life and his backstory and how it led up to, and then you're seeing the different side of the creature that you did not expect. And it feels like you're watching the story being told for the first time, even though it's been told like this before. And you really start to sympathize with this creature, that he's not what you expected him to be. He's not just a mindless creature that is a killing machine, even though he is capable of doing these things. And there are some action scenes. I mean, it's not going to be an action-oriented film. It's more of a character study. But when there's action in it, it delivers. How Guillermo del Toro did the camera work, and how that this creature was able to mess with some fools. Holy shit, it is so graphic that I did not expect that to happen like the way it did. And the cinematography is beautiful. There are times where he shot it in real location, and then there's times where he did shooting it on a soundstage, but it was not enough to take me out of the movie, because it was brilliantly well filmed. I love the color textures. I love the costume designs and how authentic they were back in that time period. Oscar Isaac is brilliant, and Jacob Elordi is brilliant, and even Mia Goth, who was sort of playing the love interest of Victor in a little bit of the creature. It's sort of like a love triangle, but not really. But I thought Mia Goth was terrific, and if you may have known her from the slasher movies called the X trilogy with X, Pearl, and Maxine, she's amazing in this movie. And Christoph Waltz is also in the film, which I did not expect expect him to be in this movie. I didn't watch a lot of the trailers. I try to avoid it. And overall, this is definitely one of the best films that I've seen this year. And this is probably the definitive iteration of Frankenstein that I've seen so far. I'm probably going to have to watch like more of the iterations to really make a comparison. But this is definitely Guillermo del Toro's up his alley. This was definitely a film that he was meant to direct. And he should definitely get an Oscar nomination for Best Director, really. This is definitely a Best Picture nomination worthy of it. This is a movie I think you should definitely watch if you have Netflix, which majority of you already have Netflix, but if you haven't seen it, you should. I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. A couple of negatives I have is that I feel like the movie was a little too long, and I thought that some of the CGI stuff with the wolves and the other things that were a little iffy, that needed a little bit of work. But other than that, it's a great film. I mean, I love how they were able to wrap this up at the end of the movie, and it was very, very poetic, and it's very very Shakespearean, if that makes any sense. And it really just shows you that the creature is very misunderstood. It's more about don't judge a book by its cover. He's not all about being a killing machine and to be an abomination. He's really just about showing appreciation of life, and he really wants to exist, and he wants to have someone that he can truly connect with. And the Victor Frankenstein character, he may come off as not of a monster, but deep down, what he has done in his actions and his choices, he was a monster really in that story. And I loved how they were able to show you the shift of that story. I really love that. So anyway, what did you think of this movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And like I said before, I wish that they re-release this on the big screen again, because I really want to go see this in the theater. I think that would be worth the experience. And I wish that Netflix can pay attention when you're putting movies out on Netflix. You got to put this out in theaters first and then put it out on streaming later, because you will have a big success if you do. It really depends on the movie itself, really. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the film. If you want to follow my social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, the link tree will be down in the description down below. If you like this review, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you know when my videos are up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.